In the days when Israel had no king and everyone did what was right in their own eyes, God would raise up judges, men and women chosen to deliver his people from their enemies. One of the most legendary of these was Samson, a man unlike any other. Before Samson was even born, an angel of the Lord appeared to his mother, a barren woman, and promised that she would give birth to a son. This child would be set apart from birth, a Nazirite dedicated to God. He was not to drink wine or cut his hair, and through him, God would begin to deliver Israel from the Philistines. As Samson grew, so did his strength. It was supernatural, far beyond human ability. With his bare hands, he tore a lion apart. He struck down entire armies with nothing but the jawbone of a donkey. The Spirit of the Lord would come upon him, and he would become unstoppable. But Samson's strength was not just his blessing, it was also his weakness. He was powerful in battle, yet impulsive in love. Again and again he was drawn to women who did not share his faith or his calling. Then came Delilah. She was beautiful, mysterious, and captivating. Samson loved her, or at least he believed he did. But Delilah's love for Samson was not pure. The Philistine rulers approached her with a tempting offer: find out the secret of Samson's strength, and she would be richly rewarded. At first, Delilah played innocent. She asked Samson, "Tell me the secret of your great strength." But Samson, suspecting the danger, lied to her. He said if he were tied with fresh bowstrings, he would become weak. That night, she tied him while he slept and called the Philistines to capture him. But he broke free easily. Again, she asked. Again, he lied. New ropes, then weaving his hair into a loom. Each time she tried, each time he escaped. But Delilah was relentless. She pouted. She wept. She accused him of not loving her. Day after day, she wore him down, pressing him with the same question until Samson's soul was vexed to death. Finally, he gave in. He told her the truth, that his strength was tied to his vow, symbolized by his uncut hair. If his hair were shaved, he would become as weak as any other man. That night, as Samson slept in her lap, Delilah called for a man to shave off his hair. And as the last locks fell, the power of the Lord departed from him. When the Philistines came, he tried to fight, but he was helpless. They seized him, gouged out his eyes, and took him in chains to Gaza. There they mocked him, forced him to grind grain in prison, the mighty warrior reduced to a blind slave. But the story didn't end there. As Samson sat in darkness, the consequences of his choices heavy on his shoulders, something quiet and powerful began to happen. His hair started to grow back, and with it, a spark of purpose returned. One day, the Philistines gathered to worship their god Dagon, celebrating their victory over Samson. They brought him out to entertain the crowd, mocking the once great judge of Israel. But Samson, now humbled and broken, turned to the one source he had always truly needed, God. He prayed, "O Lord God, remember me. Strengthen me one more time." And with that prayer, he asked the servant boy to place his hands on the two central pillars of the temple. Then, with all his might, Samson pushed. The pillars cracked, the structure collapsed, and thousands of Philistines were crushed in the ruins, including Samson himself. In his death, he defeated more enemies than he had in his life. The story of Samson and Delilah is not a fairy tale. It's a story of passion, betrayal, and redemption. It shows the danger of giving your heart to someone who doesn't honor your calling. And it reminds us that even when we fail, even when we fall, God can still use us. Delilah's love was not real. It was selfish. It was manipulative. She represents every temptation that whispers sweet lies but hides destruction beneath. And Samson, though chosen and gifted by God, let his desire blind him to the truth. His strength could tear down walls, but his weakness for Delilah nearly destroyed him. Yet even in the end, God did not abandon him. Samson's final act was one of faith, one final surrender, one final cry for strength, not to glorify himself, but to fulfill his purpose. And in that moment, we see the mercy of God, a God who still listens, still forgives, still restores. So what can we learn from this story? That true love does not manipulate. It does not betray. It does not ask you to give up the very thing that makes you who you are. That our gifts are precious, and they must be protected with wisdom, not wasted on relationships that lead us away from God. That when you forget your calling for the sake of love, it is not love at all. And that no matter how far we fall, God can redeem our story if we turn back to Him. If this story moved your heart, subscribe to Divine Love Stories for more emotional, powerful, and unforgettable love stories from the Bible. Like this video, leave a comment and share it with someone who needs to know. Even in betrayal, God can bring redemption. Even in our weakest moment, He is still strong. Because the greatest love stories ever told are written by God.